deal in the summer league. According to a report, the attention he received from the fans, the media, caused tension on the roster and was viewed as very frustrating by Bronny's teammates. Bronny was said to be viewed as the main guy on the roster, which many felt was undeserved, and his alleged preferential treatment prevented the team from building chemistry. Now, I'm on record as I'm a little dubious of this.
Now, who's reporting this?
Well, it's an outlet that is not locked into the NBA, but, I can see them putting one and one together. That people do not like that Bronny, who's averaging 4 points a game.
I'd like to see the source on this.
Yeah.
A lot of people have big opinions. Is it a blog, and the source for the blog is another blog? That which is usually the case. Blogs don't have any. Most blogs don't have sources. Their sources are other media.
Fair point. It's not
blogs.
a blog. It's a media outlet.
It is
not based in the U.S.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, sure. Not based in the league, in the country that actually has the league.
Well, they do. I mean, listen, the Daily Mail, a lot of people covering the NBA and
I'm
superstars
reporting
like
some
LeBron.
tension on Manchester United. My sources say it's very, very turbulent there. I don't buy this story.
I would largely agree. That being said, you can see how there could be some frustration. Hey, wait a minute.
So it's a British paper.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. A bunch of guys over there, hey, our sports section isn't quite getting the clicks we need. Who's big over there?
So
LeBron.
bad.
We haven't seen. Hey, Bronny James rubbed teammates the wrong way.
Definitely
and
not
when
British.
people say rubbish, we'll just say our sources.
Rubbish is underused as a word. Your British accent needs some work. You have to talk to your relatives there.
All right, let's get some clicks. Bronny is quite unpopular. Put it on The Guardian.
That sounds a little too Australian for me. Maybe
and
check
put
out
a shrimp on the barbie.
Oh, God, just stop. Oh, dear.
I don't buy into that story at all.
It's fair.
Bronny's a nice kid.
He is.
I know somebody that's talked to him regularly. Nice kid.
On video games or in real life?
I'm not going to get into
IRL?
it, but somebody that knows him. He's a nice guy.
I'm rooting for him.
I mean, these British tabloids, they do what they do. They report a lot on a lot. And I love England, but I never have once gone to The Guardian for NBA insight. What does Woj say? What's Windhorse say?
That's a great question. They're in Paris right now, so we don't know the answer to that.
What's Mark Stein say?
I could text Woj. We go way back.
Rick Bucher got a source on this? Get
Bucher on the horn. Bucher, wow, no, that's not fair because Bucher doesn't
on
like
page
LeBron.
2, cricket scores, but page 1 is Bronny.
that final Bronny was a good one there. Nice.
Okay. Let's talk about this because I actually wholeheartedly believe it. I know what they were saying, and I agree with what they were kind of saying with the general consensus, but absolutely there's going to be tension with Bronny for multiple reasons, and we see this in sports. Any athlete who's played sports competitively have seen this their entire life, especially when they're real young and you're playing with like coaches' sons and stuff, which is probably maybe what the average person would experience who maybe obviously didn't play in the NBA, as I assume most of you have not. But there's always that tension when you think a player is getting unearned playing time, fame, attention, praise, really any positive, because you're just like, you didn't earn this. You don't deserve this. I'm balling out. I'm doing these things. And yet you're getting the attention. Or you made the team. Or you're getting playing time because your dad's the coach. Like, that's such a common experience for athletes. And it's only going to be insanely magnified when you're talking about summer league and playing with LeBron James' son. These guys do not care that his dad is LeBron. They're not like, that's amazing. That's so cool. They don't care. They're there for their dreams. They're living their life, not LeBron James's son's life. They're the main character in their movie. They're not in Bronny's movie. That's the difference. And when you have a player and a person like Bronny, they try to make it all about him. And so if you're a player who's up and coming, you're like, I do not care. I'm here for me. This is my story. I'm not in his story. And that's part of the problem. Not to mention, a lot of these players don't come from very wealthy backgrounds. That's just the reality, right? That's still a common truth that we have, especially in this country, where a lot of these players, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, honestly any sport, a lot of these athletes are coming from very poor, dysfunctional families. Like, it's a stereotype, but it's accurate. Unfortunately, it's still a truth. And so just the sheer fact that Bronny lived, obviously, an incredibly gifted and luxurious life, there's also that resentment there too. Players, without a doubt, you can look this up, resented Steph Curry because he came from a 2-parent household. When he was growing up, he's, 8 years old, chucking up, half-court shots at NBA arenas because his dad is in the NBA. While LeBron James is having a difficult upbringing. KD's having a difficult upbringing. Like, that was a real thing, a real discussion point that was happening, especially when Steph Curry kind of got his rise. They didn't like him because they felt that he was getting praised because he was had a lighter skin tone, as well as living a wealthier life, while these other guys felt like they had to work significantly harder to get where they are. And this was like other major, very highly successful athletes, not even other athletes who were just like, also don't have much, like you're going to have in the summer league. Like, this was like true resentment among other superstars, other stars. So that's just like how life is in general, let alone with athletes. So again, it's all going to be magnified with Bronny. No doubt about it. And it's just one of those things that majority of athletes deal with. And I think, and I actually talked about this a couple of days ago, where every athlete has been on a team where the best player is going to get treated differently. And when you're younger, it's something that you really can't grasp. It's very hard for you to accept. And then as you get better and better and better and play on higher level teams and more competitive teams, especially because also at the time you think like, I'm going to be able to surpass him. I'm just as good. And then any athlete has to face their morality. Unless you become Patrick Mahomes, you have to realize, okay, that guy is the best. I'm never going to be as good as him. He is a leader. He is the best player. And you accept that he's going to get different treatment. It's just something that you have to accept. And then you become totally fine with it. You just understand that's just the way it goes. That's just sports. That's just the way how teams and cultures and locker rooms are constructed. And you accept it. But it has to be earned. And when it doesn't feel like it's earned, that's when you get the resentment. That's when you get the bitterness. That's when you're just like, what the heck? I don't care. I don't care if this guy's dad is Jeff Bezos, LeBron James. Like, I do not care. Is he good? Can he ball? Yes or no? And then it is a resentment where it's like, this guy's getting all this praise. He's getting paid more money than me just because he is Bronny James. And his daddy's worth like $800 million. He doesn't even need any of this. I'm coming from a history where I've been broke from day one. My whole life depends on me getting out of the summer league and getting into the NBA. If I don't, then my life will take a drastic turn. Bronny's going to be happy and successful and financially secure until the end of time. Bronny's kids will be financially secure for the end of time. Even if he's never plays another basketball game or makes another dollar for himself in the rest of his life. And you feel that. You feel that when you're playing with someone else and when there's so much more at stake for you. So yes, of course there's going to be tension. Of course there's going to be resentment. Some of it's going to be deserved resentment and tension. And some of it will just be jealousy and envy, which is just something, like I said, people in general deal with, but of course athletes deal with it a lot as well. So I think that's why it's a combination between probably unwarranted envy and jealousy, as well as genuine tension that they've created themselves. So yeah, I actually really kind of believe this report, and there's really no reason, if anyone who's actually played sports can understand this. Anyone who's just lived a life, I honestly feel as though can understand this. Anyone who's been to an elementary school and you're in a classroom where some boy gets all the attention and you're like, he doesn't deserve the attention from the girls or whatever. He's not that funny. Like, any guy has probably honestly experienced this, unless you've just been the king of the mountain from day one. And if you are, congratulations. But yeah, It's funny how they want to just kind of quickly downplay this. But it is also like a funny way to report this story where they're like, it's from a source. It's like, well, what source? It's from a media outlet. What media outlet? Out of the country. It's like, okay, are we treating this as like a legitimate story or not? Because if you're not going to treat it like a story, why are you even bringing it up? This must be a slow news day. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think that there's like legitimate tension with teammates with Bronny from the Summer League? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.